Hi, I'm Kim Conant, President of Cascades, Inc., the organization that puts on the Cascade Civil War Muster. This year, the Cascade Civil War Muster celebrates its 28th anniversary and commemorates the 150th anniversary of the American Civil War. 28 years ago, this event was able to be organized in the park director's office in a couple of hours. Today is a 12-month-a-year job to get this muster up and running with all of the exhibits and all of the reenactors and everything going on in the park. Cascade Civil War Muster is an event that's family-friendly and educational. When you visit the muster, you'll be able to see two battles. This year we're doing the Battle of Second Manassas and the Battle of Stones River. After the battles, or even before the battles, please feel free to wander through the park and walk back into history as you go through our Step Back in Time, which is a hands-on educational area. Go into our Special Impressions area and visit the living, working village of Jacksonburg. You can wander out to the boulevard and you will see tons of crafts and artists and nonprofit organizations. And then just a little bit farther you'll see Sutler's Row, which is an 1800 shopping mall. In the evening on Saturday we always have our military ball, where you see the gallant gentlemen in uniforms and the beautiful ladies in dresses take to the ballroom, which is at the driving range here in Cascade Falls Park. It makes for a beautiful backdrop for a beautiful military ball. Come and visit Jacksonburg, come and visit Cascades Park, and just enjoy the muster. The sights and the sounds will just bring history to life.
I'd like to start out first by introducing our band. We call ourselves the Bourbon County Minstrels. Bourbon County is a county in Kentucky. Our infantry unit that we portray is the 5th Kentucky, which came out of southeastern Kentucky. I like doing the Confederate side because they were the underdogs. You know, they had all the odds stacked against them, and they thought they were fighting for something that they truly believed in. And I think we're trying to pay homage to those guys that were the toughest people that ever lived.
For me, this is a fraternity. This is a brotherhood of comrades in arms. We come out here and we do something hard. It hurts and it's tiring, and we just enjoy each other's company. So we work hard doing this and play hard. But you know, I personally am into the military tactics and how the men formed on the field, and really getting you know, something out of that. And then the reason we do Confederate, for me at least, it's researching our particular unit. We're the 5th Kentucky Company C that was formed in eastern Kentucky. But anyway, we researched the uniforms, and some people even had family there, and really having variations in our uniform that isn't something that you see with the Union. And so there's a lot of variation to what you wear on your head, your shirt, your vest, boots, brogans, etc., even down to personal effects and muskets. And so I find getting into those details is really fun. So, yeah.
Like Brian mentioned, the brotherhood is certainly a big part of it. But one of the big things for me, and actually what got me originally interested in Civil War reenacting, is the music. I really grew up around music. I grew up in central Kentucky. My father and my brother both play bluegrass. You know, I grew up playing other instruments. Got a degree in music playing the tuba. But you know, one weekend my wife and I were bored and we were looking for something to do, and we saw there was some little Civil War reenactment thing going on out near Chelsea, and we went out there and ran into these guys, and you know, they were out there playing music, and I didn't get into it right then, but it sort of stuck in my head, and a couple of years later when I said I want to do this, found them and joined up, and Bill said, "We need a fiddle player here." So I learned to play the fiddle.
Tambourine, that's a funny story with that. Yeah, Bill said, "Can you sing?" And I said, "No." "Can you play an instrument?" "No." So Bill said, "Here, hit this." That's pretty much how I got to be a tambourine player. You know, he just kind of stuck it in my hand one day, and he went, "Well, that's not half bad." And that's kind of why I didn't have a lot of fun with it, you know, and I listened to a lot of the original stuff that people have laid down, and try to kind of do my own thing, but stay within the tambourine boundaries. But have some fun with it, throw a little personal. It's worked out pretty good. I had a lot of fun.
Solo every now and again?
Once in a while. Once in a while, you got to do an over the moon. I try not to do it. I don't want to hog up the limelight.
The Bones. I actually was working on a movie set in Sharpsburg, Maryland, and we were at the gift shop at Antietam National Battlefield, and they had a package of 2 bones made out of wood in them, and I was out there for 3 weeks working on the movie set, and I'm trying to play these things. And I'd heard other period music with people playing the bones, and I think I could make them clack together once or twice, and thought I was really getting somewhere, and I just kept at it time over time over time. It's more difficult than what it looks like to play, and I listened to a lot of traditional Irish music. They still have bones players in them, and I don't know, I think I've developed a pretty good technique over the years to play the bones. So they're harder than what they look like to play, though. So
I believe it.
yeah, they take some time to learn.
I was always aware of period music involving the banjo somehow, and somebody I knew was just getting rid of a banjo, so unfortunately for my wife, I bought a cheap banjo and just started researching the history of it, and the roots being really in this sort of pre-Civil War era of music, coming from the banjo as what they thought came from the Africans, and how people sort of put that together and modified, enhanced it, and anyway. So we just started researching banjo instructors of the time period and adding a fiddle and of course the bones, and so yeah, doing a lot of research, continuing still to delve into the history of it, because it has a bit of a checkered past also with some of the things that were going on with white folks and writing about songs about the South and what they were parodying about it, and because they were comic songs also, and so we always want to represent it authentically and do it with an understanding about it, and so yeah, it's been.
Come on and dance for the light of the moon. After this she had some talk. She's coming up the sidewalk and left no room for me. Jackson gals, can you come on tonight? Come on tonight, come on tonight. Jackson gals, can you come on tonight and dance for the light of the moon?
Well, I started out, and I think I've got the most seniority here. I've been doing this a long time. I started out loving any kind of history, centering towards military history, and I knew I wanted to take it one step farther. Books and movies weren't cutting it. Went out to Greenfield Village one day when they had a Civil War muster there, and I thought, this is for me. And I went to the Yankees, and the Yankees said, we're not really looking for anybody right now. So I thought, well, that's kind of depressing. So I went about 2 camps down to these Confederate fellas, and they're like, yeah, we're looking for people. We got one in a week, be there. So, and that's kind of what happened, and got involved with these guys, and there isn't anything we wouldn't do for each other. We've been through weddings and funerals, and we've married them and buried them and birthed them, and we've done it all together. And it's quite a bond. There's nothing these guys wouldn't do for me.
When I first started reenacting, I was into military history, of course. I had some National Geographic books that I just loved. Anyway, I went to a reenactment in Pennsylvania. I had no idea what this was all about, and I got pulled in by a reenactor just to tell me all about the hobby, and it sort of sat with me. And then when I got to college, there was an alumni actually who was a reenactor and was already reenacting with this group here. So it's been over 20 years, I think, since I joined up.
No, my kids recently got involved, and they love it too, so I get to kind of see it through their eyes, which freshens it up for me. For someone who's been everywhere and done everything, it's nice to see it through their eyes, and everything's pretty new to them. Matter of fact, my youngest is doing guard duty right now. I'm not sure he's excited about that. But welcome to the Army, right?
My wife reenacted for years. We met at a Civil War event in Perryville, Kentucky, quite a few years ago. So that was a positive for reenacting right there for me. That's me and my wife. All our wives do one way or another, except for
Not
Mike's
mine.
wife. Yeah.
It's great as long as it's not raining, or snowing on you, which I've experienced everything. It's a lot of fun to do it the way they did it. They rarely had any kind of tentage. It never caught up with them when they were on campaign. So these fellas marched 20 miles with no shoes on and eating, pork rinds and a handful of corn, and then flopped down on the ground with a blanket, if they even had that. And whether it was raining or what, they would sleep. So it's fascinating coming out and attempting to live the way they did, even though we're probably not very close. We do it the best we can for modern people doing something that they did every day, I think. we try to take it to as far as we can go without, getting sick. No bugs or diseases.
No dysentery.
No, pass on that.
People meet its pleasure when they part its way. Never knowed what was true love till I met Mary Jane. Oh, then farewell, farewell, farewell to Mary Blaine. Oh, do take care of yourself, my dear. I'm coming back again. She looked just like a blooming rose in the summer season. She stole the fellas' heart away and took away my reason. Oh, then farewell, farewell, farewell to Mary Blaine. Oh, do take care of yourself, my dear. I'm coming back again. The reason that I fell in love with Mary Blaine so soon, her eyes were like two balls of fire, brighter than the moon. Oh, then farewell, farewell, farewell to Mary Blaine. Oh, do take care of yourself, my dear. I'm coming back again.
It's warming me up.
Some of the equipment that a men would carry, a lot more than the average soldier would carry. It's just I put it out as a display. If you're in the field, the hygiene material would disappear pretty quick. The razors and the toothbrush and anything that's weighing you down. These guys are doing 20, 35 miles a day on the campaign, force march and stuff. The cards, well, a lot of these kids were coming off from farms, didn't really experience any life with large groups of men, so there was a lot of shady characters in there, and they were taken by the card players and other forms of gambling. Now, in a campaign, when they're going into battle, you see the side of the road strewn with cards and pornography and dice and stuff like that, pipes, tobacco. Because if you're killed, they send your personal stuff home, and nobody wanted their mother to know that they had been gambling and smoking and drinking and whatnot out there. This is the housewife. It's the sewing kit. As you can see with my suspenders now, there's always something popping, ripping, whatever. So we're doing the best we can to maintain our uniforms. It's the only one we have. You get one issue a year, unless you finally catch up to a supply or something. And you took pride in your uniform, so you tried to maintain it the best you could. For the rations, now you notice that I don't have any hardtack. Now the Union soldiers were issued hardtack, but it wasn't a common thing for the Confederate soldiers to be getting hardtack. They'd get cornmeal instead. It was a 20-ounce issue, supposedly a day. So you make a big piece of cornbread out of it, or sluice, which was you take the bacon and you fry that up, put the cornmeal in the grease, turn it into a dough, and wrap it around a ramrod or stick or something and cook that over the fire. And I've tried that, and it tastes like garbage. So couldn't imagine eating that every day during the campaign season. This right here is sugar. Sometimes they were issued that. They were supposedly getting it, but like most issues, you were lucky if it showed up. One of the big things that the men were upset about if they didn't get was their issue of coffee. They'd make it out of anything, but they prefer the real stuff. They'd actually trade with Union troops tobacco for coffee when the armies were close to each other, but not in the campaign mode. Issues of beans or whatever, you're supposed to get a lot of stuff that really never showed up in the field. Now all this stuff is sitting on a canteen half, and that was basically my my bowl, my frying pan, my plate, anything just to get rid of weight. So they didn't carry excessive cooking equipment.
When my wife was pregnant with
In the Southern armies,
back for midnight
they really didn't have field kitchens or anything like that. You'd get together with 3 or 4 of the guys, make a mess team, and assign jobs for cooking and stuff. You know, one guy would be cutting, the other one cooking it up. Somebody else would have to wash, and maybe a guy could get a day break off from that.
I said, well, just throw up here, man. 'Cause this is
The
only
soap
spot.
issue,
There's no one.
and this is probably about a week's issue.
So I stopped.
It was also intended, you know, not just to wash yourselves, but to wash your clothes with. So obviously there's not a lot there. It got pretty bad that people could actually smell the armies coming long before they ever showed up.
Nobody on the road, right? But
My shell jacket, which, like I said, you got the uniform
everything all right? I got,
once a year.
She's pregnant. Got leg sickness. We got home.
The haversack that all my personal stuff would be carried in, that'd be one of the last things I drop if I'm running, because it's got my food in it. And if you're in panic mode, you're getting rid of equipment, a lot of the heavy equipment, and running away, but you want to hang on to your food at all costs. We have a candle here, which that was probably a week's issue also. And you might find some of this around the camps. You use the bayonet as a candle holder, and that's about all you use the bayonet for. Digging holes and, you know, holding your candle. Very few injuries or casualties were caused by the bayonet during the campaigns. Most guys just weren't willing enough to stick somebody with this. Got my cartridge box. Inside it hold 40 rounds. The caps. Issued the cartridges. And this is the 58 caliber conical bullet that was the big killer of the war. And this is called a private's tool. It's an English issue where the Enfield rifle came from. England sold to both sides, so they were making a lot of money off this war. But on this, you know, you have the screw, the worm, in case your round got jammed in there, misfired or something, and you have to be able to pull that round out. It had a screwdriver and a nipple wrench, so you can disassemble the nipple and clean that out when you had to. That's, like I said, this is a lot more equipment than they would carry. Anything you couldn't eat or use immediately was probably thrown to the side of the road about 5-10 miles into the march. What I don't have, and I'm going to eventually get, is one of those big Bowie D-handled knives that you always see the picture of, you know, the kids sitting there holding this thing up. Well, that thing weighed 5 pounds. So it went to the ground in about the first mile or so.
Come on.
guys want to.
Oh, yeah.
We'll keep you here to the Skeeter show.
Yeah.
What about a slower one?
Oh, the Jolly Rancher.
I don't know, I'll probably flub that one.
Good with that?
I'll flub it.
Or something else that's
Something
slower?
simple.
Like, what's the Kentucky...
Nelly Gray.
Nelly, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
There's a low green valley by the old Kentucky shore where my wild many happy hours away, sitting and singing by the little cottage door where there lived my darling Nellie Gray. Oh, Nellie Gray, they have taken you away, and I'll never see my darling anymore. Sitting by the river and I'm weeping all the day, for you gone from the old Kentucky shore. When the moon had climbed the mountain and the stars were shining too, there I take my Nellie Gray, and we float down the river in my little red canoe, while the banjo sweetly I would play. At the door, I can hear the angels calling, and I see my Nellie Gray. Farewell to the old Kentucky shore. Oh, my darling Nellie Gray, up in heaven there they say that they'll never take you from me anymore. I'm a-coming, coming, coming as the angels clear the way. Farewell to the old Kentucky shore.
Thank you. Great, thank you.